Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order at 6:05. This is the Affordable Housing Trust. I have to read off a remote participation meeting from the town. So due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, OLM, public bodies otherwise governed by the OLM are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining the meeting. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Alicia Hersey. Now, you guys can hear me. Everybody heard that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we will start off with, can I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Second? Okay, so we'll go down the list. Can I call for a vote? James?
Present.
Jeff?
Yes, aye.
Sean?
Aye.
And Cindy?
Aye.
And then myself. So we've approved the agenda. Moving on, can I hear a motion to approve the minutes for the January 12th meeting?
So move.
Second.
Okay, so I'll call for a vote. Go down the list. James?
Here.
Jeff?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
And Colleen?
She's
What
on
am
mute.
I eyeing?
We're approving the minutes from last meeting.
Okay, I approve them. I did look at them. Thanks.
Excellent. So we've approved the meetings for January 12th.
Uh-oh.
Jake, we're having trouble hearing you, or at least I am.
I'll see if I can get him by chat.
Moving on, is there anything?
Jake, you're moving in and out, Jake.
How about now, Colleen? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
From my car and at the parking lot at work. Does that sound okay? Better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I get to pull up the, so we'll move on from the public comments and questions, and we'll move on to the CPC application. I'm going to currently work on pulling that up to share with you guys, but over the past 2 or so weeks, myself, Janet, and Colleen have worked on putting together an application for the CPC requesting more money. We're going to be presenting it March 2nd at the CPC meeting. In this most recent email for this meeting, there should be a copy of the CPC application. If you haven't viewed it, it should be there, or if you've viewed it already, but I just wanted to see if there's any comments or anything we can change, or any of the verbiage, just to look through.
Jake, I do have it open on my computer, so if you want me to share my screen for folks to look at, I'm
Yep.
happy to do that.
Well, I have a copy, so I don't know if anyone else have it.
There it is.
Yes, please, that would be awesome.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen.
I'll just scroll down slowly to stop at the important parts that we might have. Not that it's not all important, but the places where there's a bunch of text, and give people a chance to jump in if they have comments.
So I have a question. I'm sorry, I was out of town while all of this was going on, and I just want to make sure that I'm understanding it, that next year, oh yeah, okay, it says so right on the thing. I was going to ask, we're going to up it from 5 families to 10 families, and yes, okay, I see my answer right there. Sorry, guys. Never mind.
If I may ask a question on describe the project. If one were to read it quickly, the last line, this rental assistance will deplete the $30,000 awarded last year. Please see Appendix B. The AHT is now requesting $60,000 in additional funds to continue. That could be conflated to be $90,000 request.
Yes, it could be. Yes.
No, I
So-
don't think so. In additional funds, not.
No
nine-
worries at all.
But we can,
Certainly.
I would just,
It does at least state earlier in the application that the amount we're requesting is 60,000, but we could probably, there's a way to tweak that wording to make it more clear.
I just say is requesting $60,000 to continue this program and expand. It's the type of thing where somebody will read that line and will get lost in the conversation.
Yeah, if you read the whole,
No, I can understand that. I don't know who said it to, but there is a line in there that says it's 60,000, like the amount being requested.
Oh, I won't stand hard on it. I'm just going to say my experience with people who are reading documents requesting money and my experience with our town meeting, we can get people very confused very quickly.
We can
fine, just clarify it and move on.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you very much for putting this together, guys. Honestly,
Good.
it's great.
good job, good job.
we can certainly work examples on how we could change the verbiage, or where we could change where it wouldn't be confused as 90,000. Would you like directly kind of have a sentence saying like we are again requesting, just the $60,000?
I think if you take out the 2 words in additional, in the 3
Yep.
words in additional funds, strike
Yep.
those 3 words. The Ayer Affordable Housing Trust is now requesting $60,000 to continue this program and expand the rental assistance program to 10 families. I think it's very succinct and very straightforward.
Agree.
Yeah, that change makes sense to me.
Thank you.
That's
Easy.
no, I agree with that. Thank you for bringing that up.
I thought the rest of it looked great. I only went over it quickly, but I didn't see anything that jumped out at me. Did anybody else?
I hate to
No,
do it. I'm sorry. I have one question, but it's on 6C under organization, the 3rd organization item in lieu of. Keep farther down, please.
Keep going down, okay. So I was about to
Yeah.
ask.
Right there, right in the middle of the screen. In lieu of fees, if applicable, from NE inclusionary bylaws. The NE is something that made me stop and say, what is NE?
I honestly don't know. My
I-
guess is, I think Janet had that part already in. I think it should say the exclusionary bylaws is my guess. I don't
Yeah,
think there's anything secret. So yeah, we can.
yeah, I think NE is just extra. That's all.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah. Hey, Alicia.
Hi, sorry about that, you guys. I thought I could run an errand and I actually couldn't. Well, I did, but it made me a little late. I'm sorry. So one of the things I actually sent off an email to Robert and Carly about in kind for the budget part. So if we scroll just a little bit up there, you saw that, to find out, because the town is putting in kind, and I'm trying to figure out how many hours it is for the administration. And that should be represented because the town is supporting this with hours and administration. So that'll come in here. The budget cost sharing, town of Ayer, so to be determined the amount, that's the in-kind amount, the organization. I don't know. am I supposed to put the in-kind under organization or further up on the page above that where it talked about? So on page 4? In here, I was thinking we should be putting in either under personnel or other administration for the budget.
Probably under personnel, huh?
Yeah.
It would be,
administration.
would it go into the center column, other sources as in
Yes.
kind? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does
Okay.
And
it,
you might, and you, or under the other, please define, you might say in kind, town is contributing.
Administrative staff.
That's it, yeah, in that, I would do it in the other, please define,
Yeah, okay.
farther down.
Sean, do you think that we have to come in front of the Board of Selectmen or anything on this, or that's kind of what I was asking Robert?
yeah, I don't see why, since it's a separate funding source. So I don't think you would have to come in front of the board because this could be, the board's not approving it.
Okay,
I think at some point, if it's presented to the board, just because like as an overview and you're saying, and these are the administrative supports that the town is offering, it wouldn't hurt. And I would agree with putting it under the other category, just because I think if you're thinking personnel may lead somebody to believe that the trust has staff,
okay,
that it is like a actual part of the budget of the trust versus the in-kind makes more sense in the other category.
sounds good.
In kind administrative is basically what I would say, something along those lines.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And I understand the any might be the newly created inclusionary
Yeah.
things, but I would just take that any out of there on that in lieu of fees if applicable from inclusionary bylaws. Do y'all know what inclusionary bylaws are?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm not too familiar on inclusionary bylaws. Do you mind explaining
May I?
that?
in simple terms, if a person comes to us and says, I want to build 10 units, and we say, if you build 100 units, and we say, if you build that, we will give you so many units. This is just in simple math. Under our inclusionary, if you make them affordable, we'll give you bonus units to do it. Okay, so they might get 20 bonus units on a 100-unit building. So we get 40 affordable units in that building out of 120. Or if the building doesn't support units being added, they can pay the town money that goes into affordable housing supporting funds. That would be the in-kind or money in lieu of. It's a typical process used in Massachusetts to continue funding affordable housing with new development. And if you want, Jake, I can talk about it to you offline. It's a long conversation, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what it is. And it's a negotiated amount.
Well, thank
typically.
you. That was a quick summary. No, I understand that now. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other parts? Do you want me to scroll down to see?
I do know that there are some, I think we discussed, Janet, Alicia, and myself had discussed we're going to input some numbers when we got closer to presenting it that were more up to date, but that's just for when we get closer to presenting.
Can you guys stick up with me being a stickler for word choice on
Absolutely.
page 6 under 8? And Alicia, please don't, whoever wrote this, please don't be, please don't take this the wrong way. We expect this trust to be an ongoing opportunity for residents instead of a ongoing opportunity for residents.
Yep.
And then just add a period there.
Yeah, thanks.
And then up on page 5, there was 2 periods.
Hey, Sean, and no, we didn't read it, did we,
I
Sean?
hate it. I hate when I'm noticing.
So we had an argument, I had a disagreement last night on the word, is it proper alphabetic or alphabetical when you're talking about putting things in order? And Jonathan Krantz on the planning board is actually he's a professional grammar guy.
And is it alphabetic?
They are interchangeable. Alphabetical happens to be more common these days,
But alphabetic works.
but I won alphabetical. No, this is really good, guys. It really is. Thank you.
So one of the things is it needs to be presented at the March 2nd meeting. Do we need a vote on this to go forward with the changes?
Yes.
We need a motion then? I'd like to move that we approve the application for community preservation funding as presented.
Oh,
Second.
Well,
I was gonna say, as presented on February 9th to the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust with the changes as discussed.
I second.
I'd like to call for a vote. James,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Cindy,
aye.
and Colleen,
Aye.
and myself, Jake Driscoll, say aye. So we have passed the vote to modify changes to the application.
Is this the March 2nd meeting before the select board?
CPC.
Community Preservation
Okay,
Committee.
thank you.
Is
Oh, we're losing you, Jake.
We lost you again.
Somebody else is using the
Nothing
internet.
further. I apologize. If there's nothing further to add to the CPC application, we'll move on to the rental assistance program update. I don't know if Alicia, if you want to, if you have anything to add on that, or if you'd like me to
Sure.
take up to you.
No, so we've received requests for 7 applications. We've gotten in 3 applications. No, there's a 4th one coming that I know of right now. We've had, but that happened in a flurry right at the very beginning. So I've got a little nervous that I only know of 7 so far. And I was thinking we would have a lot more because on the first day we got 3 different requests. Okay. And people had their applications back quickly on that grouping. I have a couple questions for you on this. So Jake and I did a video yesterday and it went up on the website. We've got the postcards being printed and I'll have them tomorrow. And I need to talk to Pat and Ron about the mailing list and I'm going to get those out. And Janet and Jake both said that they needed help with labels. They'd come help me with labels, but I think it's only about 50 to 100 postcards. It's not the end of the world. That shouldn't take very long. And we're also getting the flyers out and just reminding people to talk to people. It's a new program, so getting the word out on the street is really important. And I don't know if people at their churches or know of people that might want to participate in this program, but make sure if you get a chance, get the word out. And we are trying to outreach. Yes, Cindy?
Through you, Jake. Jake contacted me yesterday about helping to get the word out and stuff. And I have a pretty big mailing list for Stone Soup.
Okay.
Is that legit for me to
Absolutely.
email all those folks or is that town spam?
I don't think it is. I have a question and I don't know if we need to go into executive. I'm going to phrase this in a way so we don't have to go into executive session on this. So I have gotten 1 application. The lease that has been provided I was told was given by the landlord, but the lease is actually in a different landlord's name because the property has been transferred.
Hmm.
Put two and two together on this.
Right.
I'm thinking that the way we wrote the guidelines, you have to have a lease with the landlord.
Yeah.
I have told
Yeah.
the person that I will reach out to the landlord and see if they're willing to write a lease. But I mean, does anybody see, the person who put the application in told me that this was what the landlord gave them when they requested a copy of their lease.
I would think that, but so I think one of the requirements that it's not just that you have to have a rental agreement, but that rental agreement needs to be from the person who the town is paying money
Yes.
to.
Right.
I think that's like just one of those fraud prevention.
And they have to be on board. The new the transferred landlord has to be on board with all of it. This is dicey.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I with the different programs that are going on, I have not yet reached out to the landlord. I will reach out to the landlord and just get a sense of what's going on with them. So, and I'll report back to you on this.
Well, I also think we intentionally made it vague enough that the rental agreement is just, basically it's saying, yes, I do rent this apartment to this person. We're not looking for a year lease or anything like that. So I think I wouldn't imagine a landlord would be too hesitant to agree to write something.
Well, the interesting thing is, this person said that they got this from the new landlord. So that's an interesting.
Yeah, that's weird.
It honestly could be that the new landlord just doesn't want to spend the time doing it. And along the avenue that Sean was just talking about, a letter stating from the landlord that I have taken over and this is my tenant. It's a
Well,
quick
that's-
2 or
point.
3
That's-
sentence
that's
letter.
That's what they
Yeah.
did. That's the point. That
But,
they-
and my question is, would we maybe amend the lease to say that I am now the holder of this lease and, in agreement with it? Or that's what I was wondering. I mean, how official do we have to make it?
I think the payee, as Sean said, the payee has to exist on the lease.
Okay,
Wouldn't you all?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think both names need to be on it. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be a specific format.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't be some ironclad thing, but like Sean said, this is just fraud prevention.
Mhm.
We know that people are in that situation. We know that. And as long as the money is going to the right place and that person actually is living there,
Mhm.
no big,
Cindy,
right?
Cindy, when do you have time? When do you pick up
Ever.
groceries? When do you pick up grocery? When are the groceries drop off? Because I'll bring over some flyers to you at that point.
Well, it was today.
Oh, okay. I
We
missed
thought you
it.
were, Alicia, we thought you were out doing that and that's why. you were
Yeah, that was
here.
your errand, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, so Friday, I'll be there by 3:30 at the latest, and I'll be there from 3:30 to 6, and that would be a good time
Okay,
to do it. So the video you were talking about, is that up on the town website?
yes.
Okay, so if I can't find it, I'll want a link because I'm going to put it in the newsletter that I send out.
Okay,
It was
anything
also
else?
posted on Facebook. I saw it on
Was it?
Facebook
Okay.
earlier today.
I haven't been on today, so
I was gonna say,
Um,
we're on Facebook, but that's okay.
probably the main town site.
yep.
But
I
the,
didn't know the town.
so it's the APAC that has the video, right? Hi, Cindy. Answer our
Hey.
question.
Actually, I posted that video today to Facebook. I didn't put it on the website, but I could do it right now.
That's okay, as long as I know where it is. I just want to be able to give people if I'm gonna do a mass mailing and, I want to get the right info.
Let me pop it out on the website and I will send you a link.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. So,
Well,
yeah, I'll blast one out. Are there other, I can blast them out to all the churches too, because I've got all those contacts. Are there other things you want?
Well,
Maybe-
Jake, we were good. You were talking about getting into the library and onto bulletin boards at some places around town.
Yes, I haven't had the time yet, but I wanted to go and just place them around town, some public bulletin boards. Just stop in and talk to some shop owners, explain it to them, and see if anybody be willing to put it up there.
Yeah, take
I
a
will-
bunch of them to the library. They'll put them in the children's room, they'll put them upstairs, and they'll put them on all their bulletin boards. It's a really good way to get info out.
And I will, I missed the end. I had to leave the last meeting before it was over, and I'm more than willing to run around town and help you guys out. I'm really good at licking envelopes and stamping envelopes and all that stuff. Done it a lot, done it a lot, and I enjoy it. So let me know how, Alicia, you know how to get a hold of me, just call.
Thank you.
Bonnie likes me to get out of the house every now and again when she's working.
That sounds good. So that's pretty much where we are. I'm hoping, I would love to see us get at least a good 10 to 20 applications. I'd prefer 20 applications at least, really get a sense of what the need is out there. And
So did you, Alicia, I'm sorry. So you said you had initial interest from 7 people, and then you've gotten applications back from 3?
I think it's 4 actually.
Or
I
4?
need to get back in there. One of them is, and this is kind of interesting because I'm actually, some of them have applications into RCAP solutions, and different groups are different, have different needs, but I'm helping them apply for the RCAP as well in case they don't get accepted into this program. And the one couple that I think will probably choose, if they get the RCAP, if they get it, is because they both got COVID and ended up not being able to work for over a month and getting way behind on the rents and everything, and not to give too much information or anything like that. They had just gotten an apartment and had been very excited to get into a place because they were between apartments for a while and things. So they're great, but they're behind. They won't be behind long term once they get themselves better, but it's just one of the situations. They both got COVID, and one lost a job because of it. And so
I think one of the things you could feel good about, at least if they choose to go with RCAP, is that one of my families at work just did RCAP, and they're still, at least for them, they paid 5 months of back rent, as well as they forward funded 3 full months. So that 3 full months of forward funding could possibly be the entire amount that we would provide for a year. So
sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so, with a little bit of maybe financial literacy education, if they need that, they could, if budgeting is something that they're able to do now, they might benefit more from RCAP.
And this was not one of my poorer families. So they were kind of like, when you do the income qualifications, the RCAP might solve their problems because they fell behind they had just gotten into this place. They fell behind on a number of things, but that's what I thought RCAP might do some forward stuff too.
Yeah.
So I think that it's almost RCAP possibly, because they can do up to $8,000.
Yeah.
And we only do basically 6. So if there's reasons to possibly go with the RCAP, especially if you're going to be one of the higher income people in the group that we're looking at. So,
Right.
So I've been trying to help people with that.
And so out of those 4 individuals or 4 families or applications, have they found our process to be relatively straightforward? Were we looking for anything from them in terms of documentation that people are finding difficult? Or
no, they've been wonderful. They've
Okay.
been great.
Okay.
They've been very, very excited about this because they've come in and sat down, and I haven't actually scored any of the applications yet. I've just taken them in, done a quick look over. We've talked about some things because some of them have information in flux, and some of them are saying, well, I'll have my tax returns for this year done
Mhm.
by the middle of February. So, and I'm like, okay, bring them in, because we're using old tax returns. And a lot of them have had changes. So we've just kind of gone over together, but they've all sat with me on, except for one. And I think it's easier for them to be able to sit with someone
Yeah.
and just ask
So-
questions.
What's
But
the
but you
deadline?
but you found no real stumbling blocks along the way at this point.
No,
That's great.
just the one with the odd landlord.
Yeah, but that, no, that's okay. That's good to hear. Thank you.
What is the deadline for the application?
The 28th.
I thought, okay.
So did, I don't remember off the top of my head. So in there, one of the paperwork requirements was taxes. Did we indicate that it had to be this year, like, or, and I'm just thinking if when we adjust application next year for like all the bumps and hiccups, if maybe we include in there that it has to be the most recent or the previous year's taxes, just because if we stick with this time frame for applications, it does fall in tax season. So for next year, we'll be looking for 2022 taxes.
Yes, we can. We're also asking for bank statements. And what I look at in bank statements is their money coming in from other sources. So what
Yep.
I'm looking for is deposits. So I can pretty much check to see that what they're saying about their current income is pretty correct, because I've got 3 months of bank statements. So I know what came in and I know what they're reporting. So we kind of have a check and balance there.
So I guess this would be also, maybe we didn't think about it before, didn't bring it up, but what happens if not now, in the future, we run into people who are unbanked and, who don't have bank accounts, and because it's pretty common, or aren't able to have them. What do we, and obviously we don't have to answer tonight, but thinking about like, what other forms of financial proof do we expect from those people? And I guess that could go for like, not everybody has to file taxes. Like,
So what I do in my rehab program is they have to give me, if they're on Social Security or disability, I have to have the January statement for what they get.
okay.
Okay. If they're getting something else, like from now, pretty much everybody, whether it's VA or anything, gives a statement. So you start with that statement. They also tend to, I have the end of that application is basically an affidavit that they're telling me the truth, which is always something that's important. Telling me how many people are there. Are living in the house is another important thing. Sometimes they kind of forget that 18-year-old who has a job. But I do ask them to sign that this is truthful and all that sort of stuff. You can only get so far.
Mhm.
Most people don't have a landlord. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. I know of some disabled people who are paying for just rooms. And so I asked for the statements from Social Security, disability, all that sort of stuff. I asked for, and so then I'm going to see what money's coming in. And then I sit and talk with them and I say, okay, do you have any other income? Do you have any other assets? So we do ask that sort of thing. And they basically sign that they do or they don't. And there is a place where you can't be sure that somebody's not scamming, but you do the best you can. And, I've done this program, the rehab program, for a long time. And yes, I have people that lie to me and I know they're lying to me. I make them jump through every hoop.
Yeah.
And then, I go forward with I just follow the rules.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
how I
I'm
go.
thinking- And in these terms, I'm thinking less about people trying to scam and more about making sure that there's not underserved people that we're missing, that we can find a way around. And, we may not run into it, but it does exist. And so if in the future we're able to say, okay, you don't have a bank account, do you have, how do you get your paycheck? Is your paycheck, if you're working, deposited into a secure credit card? Like I think Direct Express is one that the government uses for like disability payments or something. So making sure that we're able to accept other forms of proof of income.
Now,
And even if that's just a, X number amounts of money orders for your rent that show that you are actually able to pay somehow.
I think, Sean, the best way to handle that is as it come up. I think as it come up, a person will gladly come up, have everything. They will have something. And, in place of us trying to plan for that, we'll let them come to us. And if they sincere, they would have all kind of documents and things showing you, trying to justify how they are able to, to live. In most cases, I find, and then you're right, there are gonna be some gonna try to scam, and that's expected. But most people, if they're sincere, whether they have a bank account or not, they have ways where they try to get stuff together to help, make that case, and you can follow through it. I just think it's best to handle those as they come up.
Yeah, and I agree. I just want to make sure that we're open to that.
Right.
And that we're not eliminating them as a prospect.
Right.
And I see both sides, and having worked for a landscaping firm about 10 years ago where 80% of the people were unbanked. They were given a pay statement with a backup to it, and they stood there and cashed it. And that was a service given to them by the company I worked for. So
they still got a statement, right?
They had a statement, they had tax form, they had all that stuff. But as Sean says, unbanked. I mean, these days there are online banks that don't really, they look like banks to people, they aren't. So we're going to have to be open-minded about how we look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the whole idea of crypto, which I hope people aren't in, because it's getting bad.
Let's even go there.
Don't even go there. But that's
thing that Sean's getting at is just.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Got to make sure that as we rewrite it, if we do any rewriting, that we don't get restrictive and make it impossible for people. And I think we all understand that, but yeah, the language needs to reflect that. So
because there could be people who see that and say, I don't have a bank account. I can't apply for this, and we don't want to lose those people. So
no,
to reword it to say, or an acceptable alternative, if you don't have bank statements, and that way, if eventually we're going to work with people one-on-one, if they don't have a bank account, to figure out how we get the information from them.
Well, that's actually, if they sit down with me and I talk to them, I'll often check off what I need, because I don't actually always need bank statements if I have a current tax return. Mm-hmm. So I asked for, but everybody's been great. They just brought me everything they can bring me. So
that's been positive. Really great.
There's something I want to bring up I haven't had a chance to research, because the person who told me about it said it just got announced. And Sean, you might have heard about this. So the governor is talking about automatic income for the very poorest in the state. Have you heard anything about this?
No.
So this is, we're talking about people at a very, very poor level of maybe 500 a month. And so I just heard about it this afternoon. I haven't even had a chance to Google it. And the person was saying it was about 5,000 people. I mean, so we're talking.
Yeah, the last I heard about
unbanked.
Yeah, the last I heard of anybody, I think it was Chelsea was doing it as a pilot project, but only for it was to see if it was a feasible thing, and it was only for, I believe, 20 families.
If I may, Mass sending $500 payments to 500,000 low-income workers.
So those are, yeah, so if they're, that's.
That
they're
is what
talking
I think
about,
we're
is a
talking about.
It is a new thing or newer thing. It's from some of the federal government's COVID money. And it's a one-time payment and it's.
Oh, it's a one-time.
It's a
Yeah,
one-time,
so it's
yeah,
another
disbursement.
stimulus check, but it's more targeted towards front-end workers
Yeah.
who are on the lower end of the pay scale.
Okay.
If I may, to be eligible, a person must have a household income at or below 300% of the federal poverty level.
Which if it's a
So-
family of four, it's like $118,000, but I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise it's like, what,
Yeah, but yes, no, that was,
40,000, 38,000, something like
yeah,
that.
and it's a $500 check.
Yeah. So it's a
It's pa-
one-time
it's-
check.
It's pandemic relief money, one-time check, yeah.
Okay, okay. I was hopeful.
Yeah.
Darn.
Forever hopeful, but yeah.
Oh, you have to go to Denmark or wherever it is that they do that.
Next, I want to have affordable healthcare or just free healthcare, but that's another thing.
Okay, Jake, I think that I'm all set on that unless people have
Okay.
questions.
There any questions or anything further to add?
No, I'm glad that it's, even if it's a small sample size so far, that it's going well and they're not having any obstacles.
Well, if we can grant 5 and we've already got 7 applications, if they were all good, we're oversubscribed. You know, and that's it, but that's great. And we should always be able to handle everybody, I hope. Sound good?
Well, 7 have taken applications. I've
Yeah.
received 4. So
I know.
I'm hoping to get 10 applications and I'll hopefully put people into our cap if they can't get this. And so we'll get something for everyone.
All right, well, seeing there's no further discussion on that, we'll move on to the Air Commons update. Alicia, I don't, if you wanted to update us on that, what you had.
Sure. So Air Commons is, I had a discussion with them a week ago. They've got contacted the town and there's a little bit of a hiccup because the appraisal, the state has a law that requires that you don't pay too much for the property. And the appraisal has not come out properly on that. So we do have a PEL letter. We're sitting down with our consultant tomorrow to talk about this, but they're looking for some help to figure out the whole purchase of the property. And so the town is talking to them about that. But in that conversation, Air Commons hasn't given the town a budget of what, in the initial conversations, they were talking 200,000 to 300,000 possibly from CPC or the town. Now they're, every single time I talk to them, it goes up. So then it was 400,000, then it was 500, maybe 700,000. Now, what Jake and I were talking about was that maybe we need to request that they come to the trust and give a presentation and let us know what kind of money they would be looking for and things like that. And whether they should go directly to CPC or should the trust be requesting the money and then the trust be the grantors. And so I guess this is up for a discussion with all you guys as to what you're thinking on this.
So would you suggest, or would there be, what would the difference be in your mind if it was directly to the CPC or us as the grantors?
Well, the difference is a town meeting.
Okay.
I mean, so what got me concerned was they were looking for a commitment letter on what the town was going to put forward. And I've known all along that they're going to want some money from the town to do this. They're creating over 100 all affordable units. So, and the CPC has done a great job of giving money for everything from habitat and things like that. So the CPC has been very committed to affordable units. So it's not, unique that they would be looking. And so once again, my memory, I think I reported that we were talking about 8 Section 8. It's in there, or it wasn't 6.
I think
it was
they
8.
said, I think they said 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So 8 Section 8s that are attached to that, that means they would be bringing in 8 Section 8 vouchers, which is a huge thing for the town to get Section 8 vouchers attributed to this town. We don't have any right now that are attributed to the town. They all come in, they're all independent, mobile
Mhm.
vouchers. So at least that's what I've always understood, that the town doesn't have any that are attached to the town at this point. So I do think that it's an important thing for this board to talk about what our commitment would be to that. And I think that maybe you should talk about it with even the committee, or the CPC, whether the CPC wants them to come in front of them or whether we should be requesting. But my big concern was we couldn't give them a commitment letter and because we're not going to go for the money, whether we're going with them to the CPC or whether the trust is going and requesting the money until maybe the fall. And we probably should be getting ahead of that.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions, and maybe this has been given to us or not. I've only seen one presentation from Noah on this. 8 Section 8, what is the total number of units again? Was it 121 or
No, it's 106.
104?
104.
Let's call it 100 then, okay.
Oh,
So
according to
104
the project letter, it is 106.
Okay, 106 units.
Yeah.
8 are Section 8, which are great. So that gives us 98 other units. Of the 98, are they going to be 30, 50, and 80% of income eligible? Do we know what the spread is?
Yeah, so according to the project eligibility letter, 18 units are for up to 30% AMI.
Yep. Mhm.
And 73 units are for 60% AMI.
I'm sorry, you said 30 and 60. I was doing it quickly.
Yep, 30 and 60.
Did they have any?
That's still a few units, not.
Rate?
What's that?
Did they have any workforce rate in there?
It does not mention it this is not in the letter from DHCD. It doesn't mention workforce.
Yeah, so 73 and 18 gives me 91. And then you said 8 other ones that gives us
I
99.
think 8 or 9 other ones. But
So
yeah,
there's a couple more units out there. Are they going to be market rate? It doesn't really matter, but
yeah, it doesn't.
So that's one of the questions is, I'm wondering are they watching our CPC balance and saying, oh, they've got more money now, we want more money? But okay, thank you. What do people think? Should the trust go for the money, or should they actually?
I have a question about that.
Mhm.
Is it more something that the trust should do, or is it something the committee should do?
The trust is the only one that can handle money.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so it would be definitely the trust. And Colleen, what do you think about this being from the committee?
I mean, to me, it seems to make sense for them to go directly to CPC. I mean, it seems sort of funny that they would tell us how much they want. We would ask CPC for it. They'd give us the money, and then we'd turn around and give it right back to them. But they would have to then do an application to us to get the money, and it just feels like that might be additional steps. And so unless there was a bigger plan to go for money above and beyond that, so that we would have some, which I think we had talked about, trying to build a fund with the housing trust for purchasing of properties and things like that. So if we are planning a bigger ask and some of that could then be earmarked to them, then that might make sense. But if it's just us asking for what Air Commons is asking for, it seems like it would be just as easy for them to go right to CPC, and then they would have the money right away when it's available, instead of us getting the money and then them applying to us. I don't know, to me, it doesn't seem to make sense, unless we're going for additional funds beyond that, and
So
then, I don't know.
I think that we should probably, I guess, listening to you and just thinking about this, I think that it should probably be, I think they want us to hold their hand while they're doing it, if they go to CPC, and for good reason. They want us to be their go-betweens between the community and make it that the trust has endorsed this, the trust has discussed with them how much they should get and all that sort of thing. So it's not them coming to the town asking for it. It is maybe a joint request from the trust and the developer, the nonprofit.
That makes
Yeah, and if I can, it's almost to me similar to the way we fund other projects in town. Something comes up and the word will go, how does the select board handle it? Select board is in favor of this. How does the Affordable Housing Trust handle it? The Housing Trust is in favor of this. The job of the trust is to vet the request and figure out, does it make sense or not? And I think that's probably not a bad step. Having them actually go at that, who makes the request for the money? Colleen, I was very fascinated to hear the machinations that are involved and how the money would move through, because I hadn't thought about that. But I would do whatever is expedite, whatever makes the money more available to them more quickly without, why add red tape to the process? And is how I view. But I think it would be important for the Affordable Housing Trust to be in a place where they can support the request for the money at whatever level the request is.
yes, agree.
And I'm certainly happy to, I guess we're presenting the application for funds, but we can put a little time on the CPC agenda, and I can run that question by the other CPC members in case they see something I don't see, that there is an advantage to it coming to us first and report back. But, just that's my perspective. But I'm happy to get the rest of the committee's thoughts at our next meeting.
I think it's a good idea to going through CPC. Also, I think it's a good idea if you want to check with CPC and see if there's something we should be doing, before, because I think most of us, we want the most efficient route. In place of a lot of different hands. Every time we do something direct, you're better off. So maybe you can run it by CPC and see what they say. And then whatever they think is best for us to do, then we should be willing to do it.
So I get a question. Do you think there's any chance that there'll be a mounted effort to stop it in town? At town meeting?
Say that
The
again?
project, or?
Yeah, the project.
Well, I would hope not. I don't think so.
I'm gonna be quiet.
But I think no matter what, it has to go to town meeting, whether it's us asking or them asking. If you think that there would be I just can't imagine the town not being in favor of it, but if there would be any issue if it would make people more comfortable having the housing trust as sort of overseeing that, then that might be an argument in terms of adding that extra step, but I don't know.
Well, I don't think you have to add the extra step necessarily, but you definitely have to have a statement from the trust saying, we are fully in favor of this, we're backing this. We have vetted them. They're great.
There's a possibility that there's a butter that's not happy.
Oh, dear.
And it happens, unfortunately, and maybe we can make the abutter part of the process so that at least it's well communicated before we get to the finish line. But as I look at the CPC committee and I look at the Affordable Housing Trust, the people sitting in this room virtually, and folks on the Affordable Housing Committee and the members of the select board, we've got a great reach across this town, and the communication that can happen can be very, very beneficial. to the project as it goes forward. Honestly, we may get pushback, but I'm sure those concerns can be addressed in a positive way before the project happens.
I have had a call about not wanting Section 8s.
I'm gonna just, my family has multiple Section 8, multiple properties that use Section 8 vouchers. And I built 100, and I purchased 114 of them for somebody in the Leominster-Fitchburg area in the,
I'm just astounded.
you know
I
what?
have-
The check comes on the first day of the month and it's phenomenal. It works
Yeah.
beautifully. Everyone's happy. The buildings are in great shape, blah, 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 blah.
What is wrong with people?
Well, you know, you have to expect this, you know, we can't
Yes.
expect everyone to agree with what we're trying to do. So I just think, you know, you look at them and say, what's wrong with them to yourself. But, you know, this kind of stuff happens.
Well,
It's
what
gonna
if-
you,
always
Steve.
happen.
Thank you, James.
And I
you won't,
think
by the
it's
way,
about, oh, go ahead, Jeff, sorry.
we won't know which units are Section 8. That's the thing.
Yep.
There'll be 100 units there. Good luck figuring it out, guys.
And the good thing is, the great thing is, we've got a great group of people to help educate.
That was going to be my point, was I think with
Yeah.
enough public information sessions to inform people about what that means, because I think until I was part of this group, I sort of knew what Section 8 was, but I didn't have a full understanding of, you know, all of the benefits. And so sometimes that little bit of extra information that we might be able to provide in public information sessions may help overcome some of that, you know, misinformation, lack of information, to help better understand why these are valuable and important.
Yes.
And you know, you're gonna have a bad element of some of the person on Section 8, you're gonna have a bad element of some people not just paying their rent, earning a good living. You know, you run into these kind of people, and you know, you just do the best we can.
Yes.
Or Alicia, are you?
Alicia, you muted?
You're muted.
Sorry about that.
I thought you were
just
talking
We're
to your
hanging on every one of your
cat,
words too.
So Jake, did you want to, I guess Jake and I were talking about possibly inviting Noah to come and give a presentation to the group.
That would be great.
Okay. We'll reach out to them.
It would be really great to start the conversation, even if it's in general terms, as this goes forward. And I hope that they work out the appraisal issue. I know there are creative ways to get that to work.
So if this might be a Jeff question, and it's sort of a tangent, but just so if this one abutter is not on board with it, can they delay a process? Do they have to come back to a planning board? Do they, if they're not able to work it out amongst themselves? Like,
so in really broad strokes, Sean, in Massachusetts, any Chapter 40B or community, there's another name for it, I forgot, housing project are not, the planning board is not the granting authority. By law in Massachusetts, it's zoning board of appeals.
oh yes, okay, the ZBA. Yeah.
So we've actually offered to work as closely as we can with the ZBA. I don't think there's anything about this project that we don't absolutely love. I mean, I don't, as an individual for the planning board, I've heard nobody on the planning board say anything against this project. We all recognize it's something that is very valuable to our community. So there's that piece. What can a single abutter do? As you know, Sean, they can be a thorn in your side all the way up to a court case, depending on what their desire is to take it on.
Okay.
So
And,
one
you
of
know-
the things, Jeff, that they have talked about is possibly a change of the zoning in the location. But I don't know how we change the zoning to allow that kind of density without a 40B.
So this gets really complicated really quickly, depending on the number of units involved. But since it's 100%, the proponent should be able to look at our zoning bylaws and say, thank you very much. We're going with the Mass General Law, chapter 183, chapter 40B. And your laws, your bylaws are trumped, if you will, to use the expression. And that's why it goes to Zoning Board of Appeals. My experience in Massachusetts is there's only one 40B project that was ever stopped in its tracks, and that happened to be in Brookline. And it was over a height problem and I think it had to do with a historic district. But they pretty much, in planning, in zoning, religious properties and daycares can do what they want, and 40Bs have that same basic right in Massachusetts law.
Question.
So, yes.
That, and then in part, that's because we're not up to the 10% that we're supposed to have. Is that correct, Jeff?
That's an interesting question, because currently town of Brookline is looking, they're way over 10%. And they're looking at an 8-story building in a 4-story area. And the town may not be able to stop it. It's really in the baby steps. These things often take 2 to 3 to 5 years to do in a highly congested area like that. We're at the other end of the spectrum. We got no big A affordable at all. So this is really going to be helpful to us. I appreciate that the abutter has concerns. Abutters have concerns, guys. And what we discovered in the planning, and I know the select board does this also, listen to the concerns, work with the proponent. An agreement will be made. You can look and see about this horrible propane farm we're putting in place. Every single thing that the abutters asked for, they got, plus, but you'll never hear that.
So Jeff, my question was that possibly to get around the appraisal problem, which doesn't allow them to use X money, public money to purchase the property through a 40B. If the zoning got changed so that they didn't have to use a 40B, is that even a possibility?
It's a really complex question, and I'm sorry to not answer it any other way. If they go to just 100 units, we go to the inclusionary zoning law. We talked about it earlier with Jake. Alicia, as well as I do, the inclusionary zoning is not going to give us enough units or a lot of units. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I don't offhand know what the zoning is out in that area. We would have to go through an overlay zoning process. That's going to take time, because any changes in zoning have to go to the town meeting. Not to say we shouldn't do it, but that's going to take a little bit of time. I guess I look at it this way, and I'm just a guy sitting in my office. I'm looking at what's going on around the country with what they call zombie buildings and ghost buildings and stuff like that. There is an awful lot of money in the world right now chasing real estate investment. These guys got to be able to figure out a way to show investors that they got the money coming in at some point in the future. Money is inexpensive, it's available. So asking us to do something may be the easy route for them, as opposed to maybe changing what their desire to recoup on their investment is, often referred to as a hurdle rate in an investment. But I'm guessing that NOAA has backers who are putting money into this because it makes them feel good and they're getting money out of it over the long run. These places will be paying rents for a long, long, long time.
Yep.
And so I would assume that the appraisal process, I mean, you work with the owner of the property, you work with the investor for the property, and whether or not it comes down to zoning, I'm going to guess that's like way down the road.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about that offline, I think that's the best way to do it. I don't think discussing strategy on a negotiation that's an executive session type thing. Yeah. But that's a quick, not knowing what you're asking, I think that's a quick overview as I see it, and I could be totally wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't, we can cover it another time. Okay.
You know my phone number, call me.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay,
we-
I'm all set, Jake.
We lost Jake there for a moment. He's back, I think. We got to fix the, oh, he's probably not sitting downtown. I'm sorry. Jake said he was at work. But I agree. I think a presentation from the group would make really nice, would be really nice. And if we can come up with something that is a tangible that we can work with, post it on the website. This is possibly what it's going to, even just, you know, not a block building like we saw Alicia in that recent one, but something a little more, with a little more pizzazz to it.
I was gonna use the same word.
Sorry?
I was gonna say the same thing, pizzazz.
Put a little pizzazz on that one, you know. We were sitting, I was sitting with the architect the other day, and he was actually moving whole sections of the building just by moving his mouse. I used to have to erase and redraw that stuff as a draftsman. You know.
Jake, is Jake back?
Yep.
Hi. So we're all set on Air Commons, Jake. Thank you.
Yes.
Oops.
Yes, I am.
Unfortunately, Jake, I don't know if you can hear us, but we can't hear you.
My poor reception here. Excellent. No, thank you, and thank you all for your input on that. We'll move on to any old business. We have tax title properties. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, it came in perfectly with the words tax title properties.
Hello?
Now you can't hear us.
How is that? Can you guys
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So who has information on tax title properties? You're muted.
I don't have anything new
Okay.
that,
So there's no updates except what,
unless Jake has something from what he was talking with
No.
Janet. Okay, we got a no from
Okay.
Jake.
no
Can
up-
I then,
Alicia, I don't know if you had anything on the tax title properties.
No. But I do have another piece of new, old business.
excuse me, I'm sorry, but may I say something quickly
Sure.
about tax title properties?
You guys hear me now?
Sorry, Jake.
I keep thinking of that movie where somebody's like running through
No.
really thick stuff trying to talk. Jake, you keep dropping in and out.
What do you have to add to the tax title thing, Jeff?
Tax title properties, we've been talking about what properties are available for the town to purchase and with CPC, and I'll be talking to CPC about this, but there are 4 or 5 groups of properties here in town that different groups have identified: tax title, open space, conservation, and now the senior center is out looking for properties. So what I was going to say is, as you hear about stuff, think about that. We've kind of got different groups of people looking for it. And one of the challenges that we came up, that we recognized, and I got kind of pushed this along, is that when a piece of property becomes available to the town, we've already got lists of what we want to do. So if we all remember those, you know, talk to each other, and instead of, I mean, Janet did a great job of going to all these different committees and stuff, and it's a lot of work. But we've already built lists of things for lists of properties that the town is interested in. And as the CPC gets better and better and better, there should be, you know, we'll be turning to them also for it. So thanks, Jake. I just want to say we're working on that in the background. We'll be sending an email out. No one's in charge, but let's put a triage process in place so we don't miss an opportunity, quite honestly, is what we're saying, is what I'm trying to say. And thank you, Alicia.
So
We've
I have
lost-
another piece of old business. I know that we had talked about development and Devon's Crest and did it qualify under inclusionary zoning?
Yes.
And our town planner, Alan, and I were sitting together, just batting it back and forth before we sent it off to legal. And we actually pulled up the plot plan of Devon's Crest and realized something that is very key to this. All the properties at Devon's Crest are individually deeded. So as individually deeded, it is not 100 units. They're individual units.
So
Oh,
each building is it individual or each unit?
Well, no, all the buildings are individually deeded.
So one is
Oh.
like a two unit or a 6 unit or what?
Yes.
ah,
Yes. And so, and I went back and reread the inclusionary zoning, and the inclusionary zoning states that if it's rehabbed from fire or destruction, whatever, it is it's when you add additional units into from what originally was there. So I don't think we have anything that's going to hold water. That was the three of us, Mark, Archibald, Alan, and myself. And then we had forgotten about that, but each building is on its own deed, on its own parcel.
well, it was a great idea.
It was.
So I just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you, you little ray of sunshine. Sorry.
That's quite all right, but this is really interesting. And I
So
keep going. I'm
do
just
you wanna
checking
go
on
to
something.
New business? Does anybody have new business?
No.
Looks like Jake has called in. He just is muted.
Do anybody know how to unmute a phone?
Cindy should.
On it.
Thank you, dear. So the only new business I would say is thinking about two different kinds of projects. One is to possibly put money aside to work with a nonprofit, money or land aside to work with a nonprofit, whether it's Air Commons or a different one. Okay. And thinking, oh, I know Jake had something that he had for new business. Jake, are you there yet? He wanted to set goals, or at least start talking about setting goals.
Can you just clarify what you were just saying before we go on to that? Think about money or land being set aside
To
to
go
work-
out for an RFP to have affordable housing built.
Okay, thank you.
I have so we were talking about these tax title like properties, right? And if there was a property to purchase. And so if we purchased it, or if the town purchased it, the trust purchased it, and then what happens with it? So say there was an ideal property for development, and then what happens? Like, do we get a nonprofit to purchase it back from us at that rate, and then they develop it, or?
Well, so this is an interesting thing. We've set up the trust as a part of the town. So anything that we do in development has to be at prevailing wage. Now, the town, anything under 7 units does not. And so that's how we get around it on our CDBG. Except for, I'm not sure if that's true if the town actually owns it and is renovating. This is one of the reasons why we don't want to own Devon's Crest and renovate it, because we can't renovate it. We have to pay prevailing wage. It becomes very expensive. Not to mention that we can't have anybody in there with code violations. We have to put them in a hotel. That's all the legal requirements. So some trusts are set up as independent from the town, as nonprofits, so that they can do some of this themselves. But the projects that I've seen very successfully happen is what we can do is have a piece of property and go out that we've identified and go out with an RFP and request or RFQ, request for proposal, or request for proposals, and from nonprofits. And we can put the parameters in that we want them to build us affordable housing, we want them to do this, and we want them to run it. So then the nonprofit can come in and give us, this is what the town will put in, we'll put in the land, and maybe we'll offer some money or whatever that is. And the nonprofit will come in and build it for us and run it for us. And then we get to look at all the requests and see which one we want to go with.
Okay.
So that's one thing that we can do.
I have, my little brain is thinking of something, and I'll vet it out myself. And before I bring it up at the next meeting, I just want to make sure I understood kind of the process there.
Jake, I brought up the goals, the fact that you wanted to talk to people about goals. How's your sound now?
Can you guys hear me at all?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. So I apologize for the technical difficulties there. So I just wanted to kind of just start thinking about some of our like future goals. Maybe we could set some immediate goals in the near future we can accomplish, and some down the line goals. It doesn't have to be anything concrete tonight. It's just something I wanted to leave you guys with to think about for our next meetings coming up. Just when it comes to furthering our rental assistance program, or whether we wanted to look at any other ventures. But aside from that, I don't have anything else to add. If anybody else has anything else to discuss this evening, or any other questions.
I guess I don't really know what the total scope of this group could be. So I wouldn't know even where to begin suggesting projects. I think that, you know, Sean and Jeff and James and Colleen will be in a much better position to understand where we fit into the bigger picture.
No, I agree. And it's just something to start thinking about because, you know, the members of this trust may change over the years, but I would like to set this up for success in the future, to have goals where someone can pick up where we left off if we're unable to continue what we finished, or again, new people come in. So that was just something I was thinking about.
Really good idea.
And actually, I'm going to respond to that quickly, if I may. It's a great idea, Jake. Thank you very much. And I think a great place to look is to see what the Affordable Housing Trust documents are. We got, honestly, guys, we got real busy real fast. Putting together the Affordable Housing Trust, having to deal with Devon's Crest and stuff like that. So I'm more than happy to take a quick look back at what the charter is from the town for the Affordable Housing Trust. And if you all want, I can circulate around with some ideas that I might have, and you might want to take a look at it too. Because I mean, it's real clear what we got to do. What the next steps are, I'm not sure right now what they would be. I mean, we're here. We are talking about giving assistance to 5 families for a year, or 6 families for a year, funding another 10 families for next year, talking about a 40B project. I mean,
I'd really appreciate that, because I feel like, again, you guys have been involved in town government a lot longer than I have. So
that could be a double-edged sword, right, Sean?
Yeah.
well, okay, I'll give you my moonshot ideas. How's that?
Yes, we love moonshot ideas.
Oh.
Yes.
Somebody needs to bring them up.
Don't look to me. My feet are like buried in concrete. I'm looking when you said this was that Devon's Crest was all individual buildings, and let guys, I gotta come clean. My father did the legal work for Devon's Crest back in 1969. My dad was the attorney, it turns out. There's a picture of the Lowell son of my father standing in front of Devon's Crest when it got transferred to the Tossie family.
Thanks.
I didn't even know Ayer existed until like 10 years ago, you know? And I'm looking through old deeds and stuff, and yeah, there's my father's law firm. I'm like, oh my gosh, how this is bad. So anyway, but no, moonshot stuff's great, Cindy. Go for it. Because we got to have something to shoot for.
If we have moonshot, and then there's some of the pragmatists, right here's going to be the sweet spot.
So here's a moonshot.
All right.
So this is something that I've been working on. The property that they're looking at for Ayer Commons. The back end of the property is uplands. The middle of the property is wetlands. The front is upland. The back end of the property abuts Isaac Lane, which is our family subsidized housing at our housing authority. And they're duplexes in there. And I keep saying, why can't we get that back end and put 2 more duplexes there for 4 more families? Now, Janet says that the housing authority is not that interested in it, but I mean, so if they need money for the project, is there any way we can do something creative there too? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes. There is a challenging piece of conservation in that area,
Yes.
but we'll not discuss that now. We'll put it aside for right now. I don't think it can't be overcome.
It's something to sort of noodle around and think about. That doesn't sound too moonshotty to me.
I actually see the connection between Fitchburg Road through this project, through Isaac Lane, to a safer way to get in and out of town and down to our rail trail. And a way to get children across town, not in cars, to schools and stuff like that.
Mm.
I mean, there's some, you know, I want to put the utilities under the street along Fitchburg Road. So it's nicer looking. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on out there. But yeah, I mean, Isaac Lane, there's plenty of space there for at least a couple more units.
Yep.
And they're good looking units.
Yep.
And it's a nice, tight little neighborhood.
Yep. So those are kind of some of the opportunities, and maybe what they would do is possibly transfer us a little bit of rights to that property in lieu of, you know, in return of maybe we would give them more money for the Ayer Commons project. And we wouldn't even have to say what we were doing with that, you know, little extra piece on Isaac Lane.
We're going to have to
Right away.
convince somebody at town meeting what we're going to do with it.
Well, there you go. I'm
But yeah.
always thinking about things, you know, other ways to do things.
Yeah.
Alicia, what are,
I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
oh,
John?
sorry, Jake. That the property by the dry cleaner, we had talked about that a little while ago. Were we ever able to connect with the owner?
We haven't yet.
Okay. All right.
We haven't yet. I mean, Alan and I talked to him probably 3 or 4 years ago, but we haven't talked to him more recently. And that's another one that it's just, there's so much to do. So.
Okay.
Well,
I was just
we're
curious.
looking for more help in certain departments at the town hall. We'll get to you.
It's more that I think that that's a great potential property for some very interesting different things to do with it.
It's a good sized property too.
And when, as Jake was talking about goals, I mean, I think it was you, Jeff, who talked about some congregate living and things. And I think we need to do a little bit of education on those areas.
Oh, and I know, Alicia, you hear this all the time because you sit in the room with the guy who talks about it all the time and spouts. There's a website out there called strongtowns.org. And I will tell you right now, they proselytize certain types of new ways of looking at community. So you got to read it with an open mind, because it's the other end of the spectrum for what we're currently doing now. Who would ever thought a roadway engineer was a demon? Okay, but they demonize how we build roads, and I understand it now, because we build roads to get people through towns very quickly, not to have people stop and become a community again. So, but strongtowns.org is really good, and they've got a lot of stuff about congregate housing. I mean, in the background, we've added accessory use apartments here in town. We don't have tiny homes. What people don't understand about tiny homes is there's a Board of Health issue with tiny homes. It's not zoning. You have to have water and sewer. Otherwise you have dysentery. But you know, that's Board of Health frowns on that. But there are other ways of doing congregate homes. There's other ways of doing multi-generational congregate homes. There's all kinds of opportunities. And I think what's happening now, we also, are you guys all aware of the MBTA zoning changes? Okay, well, let me tell you what just happened through Governor Baker's office, and I will touch the tops of the waves. If you have a train station or a subway station or a bus terminal in your community, you have to have multi-unit by right zoning within a certain distance of that train station. And you have to have a certain number of units available in your production plan going forward, not currently now, but going forward. So we're currently looking at that. I think we qualify, believe it or not, with the train station.
I think we're one of very few towns or cities in the state.
We're very close, and you get Ashby on the other end of the spectrum right now. But Sean, I've actually asked them about a reading of the proposed bill, and actually I hadn't thought about it that way from an attorney. I'm not trying to shake up the bus guys, okay? But when you do zoning, you want to do zoning that's clear, understandable, and maintains the value of the people who owns the properties. That's the real reason we do zoning, is it creates value in property. The MBTA thing throws in a curve. I think we do actually qualify in our general residence district, but that's another opportunity to create community here in town. More multi-unit dwellings. We call them multi-families, but they're just multi-unit dwellings. So, and by the way, from our tax-based standpoint, an acre downtown pays 4 to 5 times taxes over an acre out in one of our acre zoning places, like the new developments outside of town. 4 buildings on an acre downtown give you 4 times the tax revenue, which gives you police, fire, public safety, all kinds of cool stuff, to be honest with you. So, yeah. So that's coming down the pike, and we may or may not have to adjust our zoning, but that's going to be something we're going to have to do it. Otherwise, we don't qualify for any money from any state fund. They're playing for keeps. And you guys thought this was just easy, huh? But Jay, what else did they even have? I mean, I would love to live in a town where people walk out their front door downtown like they do in small communities and say hi. I would love to see large trucks not going through our downtown at 35 miles an hour. Please come through at 20 or 25. I would love to see wreckers with 4 broken down cars on them not dropping parts on our streets as they go through town. Every day, all day long. You know, so, but that's me. And that's not part of the Affordable Housing Trust job.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Thank you for informing us of that. That'll be interesting to watch and see how whether or not we'll be able to take advantage of that, and hopefully we will have the opportunity to to make a motion with that. But is there any other business for this evening? Anything else anybody would like to add? If not, we'll call the meeting to an end, and then we'll discuss our next meeting date. When would you guys like to meet? Does let me look here. I think it's March. So March 2nd is the CPC meeting, and I will be there presenting that to them. So I won't be able to be at our meeting if we do one for March 2nd, but does March 9th work?
Sure.
Yeah,
It worked,
That works
worked
for
for me.
Does 6 p.m. work? Does 7 work? What time works best for you guys?
6 is good.
6 is good.
6?
What's best for you, Jay?
6 is good for me. I mean, as long as it's good for you guys, I'll be there.
Let me make sure I can get a meeting spot for us,
Okay.
but I'll send it out tomorrow. I'll try and get that tomorrow and send out a note.
Okay. And then if we just to have like a backup date, what date would work as a backup date for you guys? Would the 16th work? Would the 23rd work?
We'll try the 16th would work for me.
Okay. I think we all agreed that Wednesdays worked for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
is the 16th as our backup date?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
That's
I
Hello?
don't want to interrupt, but I guess I just did. I believe that the next budget public forum is on the 16th.
okay.
Cindy, is there
You're
anything-
right. You're right.
Cindy, is there anything on the 9th?
Let me take a look. I don't think so.
Because we're gonna be deciding on the applications we have. And so I'd love to do it in case there's some questions. So let's really aim for that 9th, and I'll get out to everyone tomorrow after I talk to Carly.
Yeah, I don't see anything on my radar, but I don't get it until Carly does usually. So I would get your name in on there. Wednesdays
Yeah.
are usually pretty good. So
Yep.
that should work.
Great.
John, are you meeting on that Tuesday? No, we're meeting that Tuesday.
Yeah.
At
we're
one
on
point,
the-
I had Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, all in one
Yeah,
meeting.
no, we're the 1st and the 15th. So,
Yeah,
and then
we're
the
the sec-
16th for the budget review,
Yeah, we're the 8th and that must make us the 8th and the
22nd.
22nd. So, yep. No, Wednesdays works really well.
Excellent. Well, Alicia will get back to us on that, and if it doesn't work, we'll figure it out most definitely. And I just wanted to thank you all for your time and being here, and thank you for your energy and your input tonight. It was wonderful, and I look forward to our next meetings.
Thank you and good night, everyone.
A motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
I always
both
want to say that.
Turn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you guys. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Thank you.